Hey everyone, welcome back. You know those warranty things you get, like with a new fridge or something,
Mm-hmm.
or even like bigger stuff, like when you get a new house.
Right.
They're like these little booklets that
Yeah.
are like, I don't even know,
Yeah.
they're like reading a foreign language sometimes.
Yeah, they're pretty dense.
So we're tackling that today.
Mm.
Warranties.
Mm.
We're going to deep dive into those.
Yeah.
And you sent in what looks like a piece of like a construction contract guide,
You're right. Yeah.
the CCDC.
Yeah. It's a big one.
So we're going to try to break this down.
Yeah. It's a bit of a dry read, gotta say.
Yeah.
But really important stuff to know.
Yeah. This is one of those things I think people
Yeah.
I think a warranty is like this magical, like, get out of jail free card. Like if something breaks,
Right.
it's covered.
Exactly. And it's not always the case. Warranties in construction, the big thing to remember is it's a direct promise. So it's the contractor promising that their work, right, will perform to a certain standard for a period of time. And that time period usually starts from possession. So when you get the keys to your house or when your renovation is done.
Okay, so that makes sense. So let's say you're like a year in,
Yeah.
you're living in your new place or whatever, and all of a sudden you notice a crack in your basement wall.
Mm-hmm.
Is that automatically like warranty? You got to come fix this.
Well, that's where this whole proper performance comes in, right? And the CCDC you sent, it talks a lot about that. And it basically means that the contractor is going to do the work
Right.
in accordance with the contract and the design. So that crack in your basement wall, if it's a result of something the contractor didn't do right, then yes, that would likely fall under the warranty.
Okay, so proper performance is all relative to what
Exactly.
like the original agreement was.
The contract.
And like what a reasonable person would kind of expect that,
Exactly.
right?
100%. And this is where it gets really important. And this is for you, the homeowner. Documentation is key. You can't just, be like, oh yeah, by the way, I saw you at the grocery store the other day. There's a crack in my basement wall. Can you come fix that?
Right. It's like that whole thing. If it's not documented, it didn't happen.
Exactly.
So how detailed do we have to be here?
Well, think of it like this. Every interaction with your contractor on a potential warranty issue is like gathering evidence for a court case. So you want a clear written record of everything. So that means like snap some pictures,
Okay.
write down the date you saw the crack, and then remember those timely written notices we talked about?
Yes.
That's when they come in.
So you're saying, like, even if I did see my contractor at the grocery store and I'm like, hey, there's this thing, I still need to follow up in writing.
100%. Because that paper trail, it protects both of you.
Okay.
It shows that you address the issue, in a timely manner, and it gives your contractor a chance to make it right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This kind of made me think about those extended warranties. That, like appliance stores are always trying to sell you.
Right.
Or
right.
like whatever. Is that the same kind of thing?
They're related, but the construction world, it's got its own sort of spin on things.
Okay.
So when you're talking about a house, right, like a new house or a big reno, you often have like two layers of extended warranties. So you've got your product warranties and your system warranties.
Okay.
So let's say your oven, right, brand new oven, stops working. A product warranty from the company that made the oven might cover like replacing a heating element.
Okay. So that's basically just like the oven company saying their product will work as intended.
100%. Now, system warranty, that's where it gets interesting.
Correct.
A system warranty looks at how all the different components work together.
Okay.
So in our oven example, maybe it's not the oven itself, right? Maybe it's how the oven was wired into your electrical system when they did the reno. So the system warranty might cover fixing that faulty electrical, even if the oven itself is fine.
That's a really good distinction. And that makes a lot of sense, especially when you think about, your plumbing, electrical, HVAC, all those kinds of things.
Complicated systems.
Yeah, where it's not just like one thing.
Exactly.
It's like all this stuff has to work together.
It all has to play nice.
So with these warranties, these extended warranties, are those like the builder usually gets those or?
Yeah, so that's the thing.
Like, how does that work?
They usually come from the manufacturer, right?
Right.
So like the oven company, the plumbing fixture company. But this is another area where your contractor is super important because they are usually responsible for obtaining those warranties and passing them on to you. So like think of them as your warranty concierge.
So you really got to make sure you get all those, like you said, big ticket items.
Yes.
Make sure you actually get those warranties.
Yeah. This is huge. And you're right. People often overlook this. This is actually, it's really important. Speaking of overlooking things, the CCDC guide you sent in, It mentions this thing called the CCDC 24.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of this?
I have. That's like the lifesaver for all things. Construction contracts, warranties.
Yeah.
It's got all the forms.
It's got all those standard forms and templates, including ones for these timely written notices.
Exactly.
We keep talking about.
Yes. It's so helpful.
Super helpful. That's right. Like using standard forms like the ones in the CCDC 24 that can really help avoid confusion down the road.
Totally. Like you're covered. It's like having that checklist.
Exactly.
Of did you do all the things? Okay, we're good. Speaking of things that could go wrong, it's like warranties are kind of like, hope you don't need them.
Right.
But when you need them, you're really glad you have them.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I'm guessing a warranty doesn't cover.
It does not.
Absolutely everything. Right?
No, it's not a blank check. Like this CCDC guide, it even talks about understanding the limitations of your warranty.
So like, what does that mean? Like, what are we talking about here?
Oh, like let's say you decide to like tile your bathroom floor after your Reno is done, and you don't do a very good job.
Let's just say, hypothetically.
Hypothetically, right? And some tiles start coming loose. Your contractor is not responsible for that.
Okay.
Even though it's under warranty.
Right.
Because the warranty typically covers defects in materials or problems with how things were installed or built. It's not there to cover what they call misuse or negligence.
Right. Right.
So, DIY projects, usually not covered. And then the other big limitation is time, right?
Right.
You might have a certain number of years on some parts, but not others.
It sounds like really the takeaway here is read the fine print.
Read it carefully.
Make sure you understand what's covered, what's not covered.
100%.
And for how long.
Yes.
Don't just assume.
Don't assume. And you know what? If something doesn't seem clear, ask. Call your contractor. Call a lawyer if you have.
Right.
Just get clarification.
Way better to do it up front.
Way better.
Than to have a nasty surprise later.
Exactly.
Well, this has been really interesting. Who knew warranty talk?
Right.
Could be so interesting.
It's fascinating to me how much of this just comes down to good communication and documentation, right? Like, it's not enough to just assume that things will go perfectly.
Right.
You have to be proactive.
Be informed. Know what you're getting into. Well, everybody listening, next time you're about to sign a contract or you get one of those big stacks of warranty booklets, remember this conversation.
That's right.
Because you have the knowledge now to advocate for yourself and ask the right questions.
And hopefully avoid a few headaches.
Exactly. All right, everybody, until next time, keep those questions coming. We're here to help you navigate all those tricky topics.